Good morning guys, we're back at the allotment again. I have got so much to do here today. I'm hoping that this is going to be one of those really productive sessions at the allotment. It's 9:20 at the moment. I can basically stay here until I think about 12, half 12, until I need to go back and get some work done. So all I've done, or rather the first job that I've done, is to go around and water everything. I'm just going to show you what everything looks like very quickly. There hasn't been that much of a change, I don't think, from last time, so we'll do a very quick tour. One of my plot neighbours has actually done a bit of strimming for me, which is fantastic, and then I'm going to run through the jobs that I'm going to get done today, and then we're going to get on with them. So this is how the polyculture bed is doing. The original patch of lettuce is doing really well. The ones that I've kind of transplanted, some of them are doing okay. You can see certainly in the middle that it's all sort of taken and starting to grow back. I've got, I think, 3 over there that have just dried out because last time I was here it was Sunday morning and they haven't been watered since then. And really, transplanting something, I always think lettuce is quite delicate. Transplanting something like that and then not really coming back to look after it is not a great idea. But you can see, look, these middle leaves here are fine, and eventually these ones might die back and I will just trim those off. I'm going to harvest, I think, some of the garlic scapes today, as they are looking pretty fantastic and ready to eat. Garlic isn't ready just yet. I'm looking for there to be maybe like 3 kind of papery layers on it, 2 or 3 minimum, before I start digging that up to see how that's come out. Now that was, if you remember, that was supermarket bought organic garlic. So if you're interested to see how that turns out, then make sure you subscribe so that in a few weeks when I dig that out you can kind of see the results of that. Carrots are still going strong. I've got some spinach there that needs thinning out a little. Peas are a disaster, so I'm just kind of leaving them to their own devices. There's some poppies and things in amongst everything because remember, it's a polyculture bed. Lots of different types of veg in here and lots of different types of flower as well. What else have we got? Onions are doing okay since I've cleared them of weeds. A little bit of spinach in that corner is fine. It's looking okay. Look, it could look better, but it's looking okay. The beetroot leaf is coming through quite nicely as well. Needs a little bit of thinning. And then over on this bed, for some reason I've sown those radishes so thickly, so they need thinning again. These ones are not too bad, can leave those alone. I think that's the Mitsuna along there, and I think we've got some beetroot here. One of the things I'd like to do today is get some stuff labelled, but I can't remember if I've brought any labels with me. This is the chard that I chopped down last time. It's already producing more leaves and things, so we might even harvest a little bit more of that, although we've been eating chard with almost every meal for the last 3 days. Something's come up along the back there. I can't remember what it is that I sowed. I'm thinking it looks a little bit like something in the turnip family maybe, but the leeks that I sowed definitely haven't come up. I don't think anything else has. But what I've got planned for this bed is this section here where the seeds that I've sown just haven't germinated, and this rhubarb is going to get dug out because that's the one that I want to keep. I'm going to have like a fruit kind of section over there. This needs digging out. Seeds haven't germinated, so I'm going to put a row of tomatoes at the end of this bed. And then this is what my kindly plot neighbour has done. It's kind of trimmed all of that down for me, which is fantastic. So one of today's jobs then is to get at least half of this bed dug over. And I've got a load of leftover potatoes, which I know are really late to go in at the moment, but it's something to get in that soil. Now, whenever I've grown potatoes at the plot, I've always ended up with a touch of blight towards the end. So I don't have high hopes for these potatoes, but I've got them in tubs at home. That's kind of like my proper supply of potatoes, if you see what I mean. But I need to get something in this ground, partly to break it up because it's clay soil. It hasn't had any compost or anything like that put on top of it. I need to get something in there. So I'm thinking potatoes for at least half of that bed. And then the section that has been trimmed by my plot neighbour, I can then hopefully move this weed suppressing membrane, or I might have some spare over there, and just kind of cover that bit over so that I can either dig it or create a no dig kind of section at the back there, but for now it's this bit that I'm concerned about. So that's one of my jobs, is digging and potatoing. And then the other job is, I don't know if you can see here, I've started to put together an archway which is going to go hopefully across here. It's going to straddle the veg side of things and the flower side of things. So I've got a passion flower to put in on one side, and I've got some climbing beans, runner beans to go in on the other side. So I'm hoping to get that put together today. And yeah, I think that's probably going to take me to 12 o'clock. I brought some, oh my goodness, what's like hand clippers with me. And I'm just going to start clipping along this side here. And oh my goodness, look. See, this is why we have these things here. Look at you. You're gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. And a bee. A butterfly and a bee in the same shot. How beautiful. But honestly, the purple of this Phacelia is absolutely gorgeous. And you can see over here we've got the California poppies with the Phacelia as well. But yes, we need to kind of trim this edge. I will at some point straighten that whole edge out. And then I could do with sort of digging this patch over and getting some stuff in there. But I don't think I brought anything with me. So we might leave that for another time. Right then, let's get to work. Let's get this archway done, shall we? Right then, so far so good. I've got pretty much one side sorted. I just need to make the other side, and then I've got the curved pieces are on the table to do the top bit and join it together. So it's a little bit bent. I haven't really put it in particularly evenly. You can see I've bent it a little bit at the bottom there, but it is up. And I already like walking underneath it and walking through it. So it's a little bit wider than the original path. There's a little bit of kind of soil, or a little bit of the bed rather, kind of in front of it. I think that's fine though. I'm going to be planting around the base of it, so I don't think that that's a problem. And actually you can see that probably a second one is going to be just about perfect to kind of arch over this whole section. And then I can do the same thing over there. I think one here will kind of do that bit, and then I might rearrange my paths a little bit later on in the year, just so that I can get another two along this bed. And then ultimately, actually probably three I think along here, just so that I have a whole walkway all the way through the allotment that's got veg on one side, or climbing vegetables on one side, and hopefully eventually some perennial climbing flowers over on this kind of left hand side here. Wow, I can't believe I've finally done that. That bit there is slightly worrying me where it's bent. And actually I can see what I've done is I haven't got the legs out quite wide enough for the width of the archway, so I might have to pull those out and just straighten them up a little bit. But overall, pretty chuffed with that. That was the hardest bit, getting the horizontal strut at the top in. So I think next time I make one, I'll start with the arch and then come down to the straight bit, because I think that's going to be a lot easier. But yeah, overall it feels so different just having just the one there. I can't believe it. It is absolutely boiling hot out here. I'm so sorry, my little beetroot sweaty face. And actually that's one of the reasons why I've got the archway there, is because it's fantastic that my allotment is so kind of open and exposed and bright and sunny, and you know, gets full sun over the entire thing. There's a lot of benefits to that. For example, I don't have problems with slugs and snails here anywhere near as much as I do in my back garden, because my back garden has loads of shady, damp areas that the slugs absolutely thrive in. They absolutely love it there. So in terms of growing vegetables that need to ripen in the sun, this is fantastic. But also, as you can see, everything it's so exposed, and that's to the wind as well as to the sun. So what that archway will hopefully do when it's got things climbing up it, particularly when one side has got evergreen climbers growing along it, it will just cast a little bit of shade in certain areas. And it will also give me an option. You can see I'm struggling, like I don't know where I can go really on my allotment to film. It's just so bright, and because I film on my phone at the moment and I won't be investing anything into sort of cameras and mics and things like that until the channel gets monetized and I start kind of getting a little bit of income from it, because then I can put that back into the equipment that I use, as well as into the allotment and into the garden. So at the moment my phone just can't handle days like this. I don't even know if I can handle days like this. It's just so hot and sunny. Anyway, I need to get some stuff planted around the base of that archway. I also need to order another one, possibly next week, so that we can get the second one up, and I've got at least like a full section of the archway completed. And I've got digging to do in this weather. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? It's crazy. So yeah, another thing I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm going to give everything a second soaking, because this is a great day for growth. I mean, it's a great day for all of my vegetables to put on some growth, because it's lovely and warm, it's lovely and bright, and if I water them a lot, then you know, they've got everything they need to thrive today. So I've done a little bit of planting, and this is what I brought with me. So you can see here I've been to Asda and I've used their 3 for £5 deal. I've brought 2 of the things with me today. So we've got a passion flower called Amethyst, and that will have edible fruits on it, so that's fantastic. And I've also brought this bright pink clematis, and I've got the passion flower here and the clematis here. And then what I was thinking, so I was thinking about the fact that this has got or will develop fruit, is, bear with me, when we get further up here and I've got the archway kind of going at this end of the path, and bearing in mind where that pear tree is and the aquilegia and all the grass and all the weeds, the end part of that is going to have some gooseberries and raspberries in it, and then obviously I will trim underneath the pear tree. I'll have the rhubarb there. I thought that actually on this archway I could maybe try and grow some grapes, so that on the archway here that's half in the flowers, half in the veg, that has climbing veg one side, climbing flowers the other side. And then over here, where it's half in the veg, half in the fruit, I can have grapes growing up one side and perhaps some climbing veg on the other. Although, looking at where the shade is, it might be better off with the grapes on the vegetable side. I don't know. Anyway, we're a long way off. We're miles away from getting to that point. So the next thing I'm going to do then is, in my Asda bag over there, I have got some climbing beans and things. I've realised that I've brought too many with me, but I think I might plant them anyway, because I can just pop a couple of canes in temporarily until I get the next archway in. So on the veg side, we're going to put some, I think I've got some runner beans. So on the veg side, I think I've got some runner beans and some climbing French beans, but let's go and check. So I've brought with me 3 or 4 different types of bean here. So in this tray you can see that most of the ones at the back, which is climbing French bean cobra, most of those have either rotted away or they've been eaten by something. I think I've got, what have we got, maybe 4 or 5 of those at the back there. And then these ones towards the front, these are runner bean white lady. I've got a pot there that isn't labelled. Now that looks like a runner bean to me, but I couldn't tell you which one it is, because I also saved some seed from my own runner beans last year, so it could be one of those, or it could be a white lady like these ones. And then these pots here have got a climbing French bean called Necker Gold. So I've brought with me far too many beans than I need for that archway, but I think what we'll do is we'll pop these Necker Gold ones in, because they're looking really healthy, and we'll pop those around the base of the archway. And then what I'll do is I'll pop these in kind of where the other archways are going to go, and then the next time I come up here, if I haven't got the archway, I'll just bring some bamboo canes with me so that they have something to grow up temporarily. Right, let's get these bad boys in. So everything's watered in now. We've got the climbing French bean Necker Gold in there, and then what was this one again? That's the Cobra climbing French bean. So 2 different types of climbing French bean there, and then the runner beans are all along here, and then we've got the clematis and the passion flower in there. And then the only other thing that I need to do, oh, I tried to straighten it up, but I'd done such a good job at pushing it in the soil that I just couldn't get it back out again. So it's just gonna have to be slightly bent like that. And actually when it's got loads of stuff climbing over it, you shouldn't really notice it that well, and I'll be a little bit more careful when I put the others in. The only other thing that I'm going to do is bring some garden twine with me next time and just add some extra string up the sides here so that the plants have got a lot more to kind of grip hold of. So my next job then, I've uncovered another little section here. I'm going to get this dug over, get the spuds in there, and then, like I keep saying, it's because I'm trying to convince myself of this, getting something in the ground is better than nothing. And actually I've got some sweet corn plants at home that I'm about to pot on, and eventually they are going to be big enough to come out here. And I thought I'll uncover this section, which is cardboard covered in wood chip. I'll take the wood chip off, get some compost on it, and then I can have a block of sweet corn here this year, at least half a bed of potatoes. Hopefully by the time I get to that end I'll have some more stuff ready to come out. I'll have my tomatoes down here, sort of salad crops and mixed crops and things, and then I've just got to think about my brassicas, which actually, I mean, if I sort that bit out, they could go along there. So as you can see, I've been doing some digging. I've dug up quite a lot of tap roots of dock leaves and things that still just hadn't really died back properly. I've dug it over with the big fork. When my friend the blackbird has been and helped himself to a few little nice things for his lunch, then I will go back over that with a small hand trowel, and then I will get some potatoes in. I think I've pretty much done the section that I wanted to get done, maybe like another foot possibly. And I've also attempted to dig up that bit that has the grass, but I need to put something over the grass to kill it off before I can do that, because, you know, it's just too tough. The roots are too strong for me to dig up. But yeah, just how gorgeous is this? I mean, how gorgeous is this? And my arch. Well, when there's two there and then there's some more here, I mean, it's just how stunning, amazing, brilliant. I can't wait to come back and do the next stages, which will be the tomatoes, probably digging up the garlic soon, sorting out the flower patch, the fruit section. Now the fruit section, I would really love to get to that this year, and I think I might just about manage it. The bit that I don't think I'm going to get to this year is beside me here. So I'm sitting on a little wooden chair, this bit beside me here. So I've got the cherry tree. The cherry tree is great, but I need to just raise the canopy of it slightly, because I want to have like some compost bins and stuff over on that far side. And also I need to get some moth traps for it, because the cherries are always really maggoty. And I need to get rid of that pampas grass, and I have no idea how on earth I'm going to do that as yet. And then under there, I don't know if I've mentioned this lately, there is some kind of strange moat that was put in around the pampas grass. So there's actually quite a lot of space back here. But yeah, uncovering that I think may well be an autumn winter job. So one of my last little jobs then is I've gone along this edge here with a very rusty old pair of hand shears, but I have managed to tidy up this edge fairly nicely. I mean, I've said before, I need to come along here with some sticks and some string and a turf cutter and actually kind of get the edge straightened up properly, but it looks a lot better. I haven't done along here yet, and that's because the tool's rusty, blunt, and it's quite a lot of effort just to manage to get this bit done. So I'm going to move this pile of grass onto my compost heap, and then I'm going to give everything a really good soaking again, and then it's time to head home.